Welcome back to another video on Influential Sports. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Now today I'm going to be talking about the college football playoffs. They expanded to 12 teams this year and how I felt about it. Because there was a lot of mixed opinions from people going into it when it was first announced that it would be 12 teams. Now my initial reaction was it should just be 8 because it feels like 12 is too many. That's a lot of teams. And then originally it was 4 teams, and I was like, 4, that's not a lot of teams. It's definitely other teams should get a chance. So my thought was keep it even, keep it at 8 teams. The top 8, they should be able to get into the playoffs. But then the college football committee, they ended up going with 12. And then that caused a bit of mixed opinions because the top 4 seeds will have first round byes. But let's get into let me do a recap real quick of what happened in case you missed out or forgot what happened. In the first round, Texas beat Clemson 38-24. It was a solid game. It was, even though it was a 2-touchdown game, it was actually really solid throughout. Ohio State beat Tennessee 42-17, and what was a game a lot of people expected to be good. Penn State dominated SMU 38-10. Notre Dame beat Indiana 27-17. And the game seems competitive, but it really wasn't until the fourth quarter. Then you get to the second round. Texas beat Arizona State 39-31, which was definitely the best game of the college football playoffs this year. That game was fun. Ohio State beat Oregon 41-21, and was one of the worst first halves we've seen from Oregon all year. That was definitely their worst first half. Penn State ended up beating Boise State 31-14, and Boise State had multiple chances to make it competitive and keep it close, but they just made too many mistakes. Notre Dame ended up beating Georgia 23-10. And then you get to the semifinals. Ohio State, they beat Texas by 2 touchdowns to beat them 28-14. Notre Dame beat Penn State 27-24 in what was a really competitive game. So now you get to the situation where you had the 7 Notre Dame and the 8 Ohio State in the conference in the college football championship. In the old format, neither one of these teams would have been in the playoffs. So let's get into one of the positives. Is more teams. Well, one of the positives that it truly shows what teams are elite and what teams aren't. Like in the old format, neither one of those teams make it to the playoffs, but none of the 12 teams, you had a 7 and 8 matchup in the championship, and they both went on dominant runs. And in the college football championship, the Ohio State, they beat Notre Dame 34-23, and it was a decent game. It wasn't the best game, but it was one of the top 3 games, 3 or 4 out of these college football games this season, college football playoff games. Yeah, like I said, that's one of the positives because it shows like these teams are really elite. And you had the four teams that had a first round bye. They ended up losing in the in the second round. They had a first round bye, got to chill where everybody else played, then they all ended up losing. Arizona State, Oregon, Georgia, and Boise State all had first round byes, and they ended up losing those games. So it really shows what teams are elite and what teams aren't. So that's one of the positives that I have. Now I keep sticking with the positives. The fans love football, so the fans are gonna eat it up. They have been clamoring for the playoffs to be extended to add a few more teams in there, and they added a lot more than we expected. They added 8 more, but the college football committee gave the fans what they wanted. They wanted more we wanted more football, so we ended up getting that. Another thing, more teams have more opportunities. I guess that's a great thing that you can go to the playoffs. It's not just 4 teams fighting for you. Don't just get 3 playoff games. You're getting multiple playoff games. Multiple teams have shots at these games, like the Texas and Arizona State game. We don't get that in the old format. That was one of the best games. Definitely the best game. Texas had their best rushing game of the season in that first round, and in the old format, like I said, they wouldn't even made it. So all these teams that we saw lose in the second round in the old format, they would have been playing in the playoffs, and maybe those games be competitive because the matchups are different. But the fact that more teams get more opportunities and it exposes a lot more teams, it shows who's really the top of the top. So I think that's definitely a positive. Now another positive is that the colleges, they make more money. The networks, ESPN, ABC, all them, they're all making more money. They're all profiting off of that. So these sports companies, these leagues, they can do whatever they can to make money. So that's a positive for them, along with more games being added. It's giving them more, it's helping them make more money. And then the final positive I would say is that the first year showed what changes need to be made. Like, it's a first year thing, so obviously that's a huge positive, showing what changes need to be made, what needs to be improved to fix it so that we have a consistent format going into the future. Now, my negatives that I wanted to address was strength of schedule didn't feel important when determining the teams. Now, people had an argument about whether Alabama should have made it over SMU, and before Alabama's bowl game, they were 8-3 if I'm not mistaken, and SMU was 11-2. Now, even though SMU had more wins, they had less losses. SMU's strength of schedule wasn't as tough as Alabama's strength of schedule. So the argument was made that maybe Alabama should have got in. And I think Alabama had a harder schedule than Clemson too, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be important in the future. Like, they got to take strength of schedule more serious. It has to feel more important. And I'm not saying that SMU being in there was a bad decision, because I don't think it was. They had a really great season. Now, they didn't play the toughest opponents, but they had a great season and they were able to get in. But Alabama definitely had an argument, despite having more losses. No, 9-3, not 9-3 before the ball game, not 8-3. Because that, but Alabama, like I said, the strength of schedule, it has to be taken more seriously, and that has to be really important. Like, if you have 3 losses with the 16th best strength of schedule, or like had the 16th toughest schedule, and then another team has 2 losses with the 76th strength of schedule, like the team with the 16th strength of schedule, they should win despite having that one more loss. That's one of the few negatives I have. Another one is conference championship winners getting automatic bids. Like, who was it? Georgia, they won their conference, got an automatic bid. Now, they should have been in it, but I don't know if they should have been a team to get a first round bye. Like, they're going to have to do a better job determining that. Like, obviously the conference champions of the Power 4, they got automatic bids into the top 4. Then Boise State got 4, if I'm not mistaken. 4 or 3. So that has to change. You can't win the conference and just get an auto bid into it. That also plays a part into strength of schedule. Now, a small gripe, and just because of how it played out this year, is that the top 4 teams got first round byes. That's why I said it should have been 8, because I don't think, because in the past, teams they didn't get first round byes. So I don't think you should have got to that point where the top 4 seeds get rewarded with first round byes. That's why I said 8, to keep it even, keep it a good amount, and that would have been fine. But you can't really change that with the 12-team format. I will say I really like the 12-team format. I enjoyed it this year. I think it's great. I have no problems with the 12-team format. Now, 3 things that have to happen. You have to keep it at 12 teams. Like I said, you need that to happen. You have to factor in strength of schedule more. That has to be more important in the upcoming years. And conference championship winners shouldn't be automatic bids to the playoffs or automatic bids to the top 4 seeds. So that all 3 of those things play a factor into one another. But that is it for this video. Please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel. And comment your thoughts below about the 12-team format. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? And tell me why. And peace out.